Hey guys, what's up, Predictions here, and welcome back to this brand new vlog. Today I'm going to show you what it looks like to take care of your kart after a day of testing. But anyway, if you end up liking this video, then please consider giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel and leaving a comment. For you it's only a couple of clicks and a few taps on your keyboard, but for me it literally means that I can continue doing this amazing sport. My goal is to hit 10k subscribers over the next few months, so if you want to help me reach that, you know what you gotta do, click that red button down there. And turn on the bell notifications as well. Also, if you want to support my racing by more than just watching the videos, then you can always check out my Patreon in the description down below. We already got this one awesome Patreon there, and I would love it if more of you guys would join it, so go check it out. But now, let's dive into the kart. What do we have to do right now? So, here it is, the kart, still freshly out of the van from last Saturday. These are the tires that we used in the last couple of sessions. They're all wrapped up in this sort of foil stuff. And the reason why we do this is that the tires will stay, they will just stay fresh for longer. So if you just let them sit out here naked, then they will dry out and give less grip. But by doing this, they will actually stay pretty good. So what I gotta do now is remove all of these side pods, which, it's only two. And, well, the rest of the bumpers are already there because that's necessary for transport. I will take off the exhaust. I will take off the chain guards, the wheel hubs. Of course, the engine. I will also take off the steering wheel to clean because, as you can see here, it's pretty dirty. And, if you own an OTK kart yourself, you'll know that this steering wheel, the new model steering wheel, so with rubber, is absolutely impossible to clean. So I'll show you that as well. And last but not least, I will also be taking off the fuel tank and cleaning that as well. So that's what I'm going to do right now, and I will make a time lapse of that, so I'll see you at the end when everything is done. Okay guys, so the stripping is now done. Yes, the stripping. Now I'm going to show you how I clean each individual part. Now keep in mind, this is my personal way of cleaning. Yours might be a little bit different, but if you're not in karting at all, just enjoy. I will show you everything that goes into it. So this is what the kart looks like when it's stripped down. You can see it's barely recognizable anymore. All you can really recognize is the seat and this front panel right here. Now this is usually how far I strip it down every week to just keep it clean. And well, as you can see here, it's pretty greasy, and you can see the sand and little pieces of metal everywhere. And here, this is where, of course, where the engine is, and the chain that just spits out oil everywhere. But also, if you go to places like the brake system right here, if the camera will focus. Wait, there you go. There you can see just brake dust everywhere. It's just completely dirty. And like pieces right here and stuff. And it's just all messed up, really. And if you are a karting driver yourself and you're thinking like, Red, why are you taking it so seriously? Why are you cleaning so much? Like, no one's ever going to look there and say, oh, that's disgusting. Well, yes, that's true. But let me tell you two very important reasons. Well, reason number one is, well, it's just goddamn expensive, and why wouldn't you take good care of something that costs so much? Like, some people I see taking their kart and it looks like they have competed in the WRX championship with it or something. Another reason is that when you take it apart like this every week, you can most of the time already see when like a mechanical failure is coming. Like, of course, you can see little cracks in the brake disc or something, or some bolt that is just worn out. By doing it the way I do, you can already prevent all of these things from breaking at the track, which saves you a lot of time. Like, when I compare my testing days to most people, I get more track time than pretty much everyone else, because everyone has some little problem here and there. But yeah, if you just check all of those things before you go to the track, well, you just save time. Well, that's just the way I think about it, but some people clearly have a different opinion on that. That's okay too. This is just my advice to you if you're a beginner or something. So these are all the things I'm going to clean. Let's take a close look at them from left to right. So that will be the steering wheel, airbox, engine, exhaust, the ignition and power valve system, the wheel hubs front and rear bumper, front bumper, side pods, and of course the fuel tank. Oh, and I almost forgot that little bastard over there, the chain guard. Now I will take you guys with me to show you how I clean all of this stuff. Now, of course, for some of this stuff I have two of them, and of course I will only show you one of them because what's the point of showing both of them? It's the same for both. Normally I would do all of this and the kart all in one go, but now I don't have the time for that. Gonna do the kart tomorrow, and of course I will put it all into one video. So let's start with the first thing, the side pods, the tank and the steering wheel. Alright guys, so we're now outside. I'm going to clean all of these side pods and of course the steering wheel right here. So the things you will need for that is a tub of warm water, which you have just seen, some sort of brush, you can also use an old paintbrush, and some sort of degreaser, which I have right here. So the first thing you gotta do is just spray everything with this degreaser and let it sit there for about a minute. Anyway guys, before you think I'm polluting the environment with this stuff, don't worry, this stuff is biodegradable, so I can just do that. Yeah, no worries. Okay guys, so after you've done that, you want to get your tub of warm water, put the brush in there to get it nice and wet, and then you just grab the side pod or something you just want, and after that you just gently rub it all over. And there you can see the sand and all the stuff, it just melts off basically. Okay guys, so as you can see, I cannot get everything removed by this method. You can see here that it's a little bit of a black spot still. And yeah, there are multiple black spots on there. We will do that after this. After this I'm of course going to dry everything. Then I'm going to get WD-40 all over it and just wipe it down with some sort of old cloth. That's just the way to do it, to first clean it with by hand with this and then WD-40. Now the reason I'm not doing WD-40 immediately is that because, I'll show you, these insides, the inside of the bumpers are of course white. And if you rub your towel all over them while there's sand on it, it basically acts like a sort of sandpaper and you get all of these damage all over it. And that's... Okay, sorry guys, as I was saying, and that will of course damage it. You will get grey spots and black spots, and there are loads of people driving around like that, and it's so easy to avoid, man. It's, just wipe it down by hand first. It may take a little bit longer, but you'll save your kart, really. Okay, so now it's time for the steering wheel, and as I said, if you own an OTK yourself, you know how hard it is to clean all of this. For some reason, dirt and grease just gets caught up in these little rivets right here, and it's just impossible to clean. Like, I'm doing my best every week to keep it clean, but yeah, it's just impossible. Okay guys, so that's everything desanded and a little bit degreased. Now I'm going to head back inside, dry off all of this stuff, and then once I've cleaned up the entire kart, I'll put all of the side pods and the plastic back on, and then I'll coat it with a little bit of WD-40, because it's just way easier to do that when it's actually on the kart. So let's go back inside. So now we're going to move on to the part I hate most, and that is the engine. I'll tell you why I hate it when we get to it, so let's go. Okay guys, so first step, get your 5mm Allen key, this one, and then get rid of these three things. Okay guys, so once you have undone these three screws right here, you can just take it off like that. Just get yourself some old towel or a piece of cloth. Get yourself some brake cleaner. Put a little bit of brake cleaner on the cloth. And then you can just rub the grease right off of here. And now it is time to remove the actual clutch, which is this thing. Here you can see the clutch, and this is the gear, and well, when it's on the kart, of course, this gear will be connected to the rear axle by a chain, and this will of course transfer the power of the engine to the rear wheels. So to remove it, it's fairly simple. All you need is this 17mm spanner and this special tool right here, which stops the clutch from rotating. So first, of course, you gotta insert this tool right here. Once that's inserted, you can of course see that it can no longer rotate, and that's what we want. Once you've done that, you just want to put the 17mm spanner on here and then just, well, push. Remove the next ring, and then the clutch should just come right off. So this is what the inside of the clutch looks like. At a certain amount of revs, these things will expand and they will catch onto the outside of this thing, and then you can just drive off. A very simple system. I think most mopeds and scooters have this system as well, actually. So now it is time to clean the inside of this disc, and again, that's fairly simple. Just put it down, get a little bit of brake cleaner in there, and you can see that most of the dirt's already coming off, and then again, just wipe it out with a towel or a piece of cloth. So with the clutch removed, it is now time to get onto the worst part, and that is cleaning the engine itself. Oh god, I really don't want to do this, but I have to, so let's do it. Actually, the process of cleaning is pretty similar to the bumpers. Get yourself a tub of warm water, get yourself some WD-40, get yourself some degreaser and some sort of brush. I recommend getting a used paintbrush. But one thing that is different, however, as I carry the engine to its place now, is that we also use WD-40, and that of course is not biodegradable. So that is why I'm also using this. Yeah, I definitely recommend getting yourself some sort of spill container or a drip tray. I'm just gonna put the engine on there right now. Also, before you do anything, make sure that you cover up every hole on the engine, like this. Because of course you don't want anything like water or degreaser to get into here. Okay, so what you want to do now is get yourself some WD-40 and just spray the entire goddamn thing with it until, yeah, beyond dripping. So let's do that right now. Okay guys, so once you got your thing absolutely dripping with WD-40, it's time to get this degreaser out again. Wait, I'll show you how dripping it is, the engine, wait. You can see that it is completely greased up, like it's shiny and everything, and it's literally dripping with WD-40. So what you want to do now is literally repeat the same step, but with this stuff. So, yeah, let's go. Okay guys, so once we have doused this thing in WD-40 and in the super cleaner degreaser, we just have to wait for about 5 minutes to let it all work. Now the reason that I combined those two things is because this, as you can see down here, both of these things react with each other and create some sort of weird white stuff. And that white stuff is actually the best degreaser there is. And well, if we just let that work for about 5 minutes, it will basically just dissolve any type of grease or rubber that's on there. So now it's just time to wait a couple of minutes, get yourself some hot water and a paintbrush as well, and then we can of course rub the entire thing down. Now the reason why I hate doing this is, well, I'll just show you. Most kart engines, but the Rotax one in particular, got all of these little creases and holes here that you really cannot reach, like here. Dirt and stuff always collects down here, and you really cannot reach that, even with a paintbrush. Actually, the worst offender is when we flip the engine on its back, and well, it's down there, down that black hole in the middle. I don't know if you can see that. There, under there. That's just a whole elephant's foot of dirt and grease, and you really cannot reach that. So, yeah, this takes so long, man. I really don't like doing it. Okay guys, so we're now finished cleaning the engine. Now it is time to of course dry it off very well, because you absolutely do not want that thing to rust. And the best way to do that is to just hit it with some compressed air, so I'm going to do that right now. As you can see there, all of the super cleaner and WD-40 is now off the engine, and it's now right here. And this stuff, it's so slippery, you do not want this on the floor anywhere. So that's why I'm telling you, get yourself a little drip tray to clean your engine. Okay guys, so I have now used the compressed air to completely dry off the engine. Now it's just a matter of getting the last few things off there with a piece of cloth and maybe some WD-40 or something. Just clean off the last few bits, because of course you cannot get everything with a paintbrush. Also degrease the clutch and put it back on there, and then of course it's done and we can put it back in the case. Okay guys, so next up we will do the exhaust. Pretty straightforward, I'll show you. Okay, so once again I recommend getting yourself one of these drip trays. Just place the exhaust on there. And that is because, just like with the engine, we are going to absolutely douse this thing in WD-40. So the way you do this is just, yeah, put WD-40 all over it and then rub it down with a piece of cloth. That simple. Okay guys, so as you saw on the time lapse there, I also decided to immediately do the new exhaust as well. It's just, yeah, this doesn't really take that long compared to the engines. Now I'll show you what it looks like once it's been completely greased and cleaned. Yeah man, I mean look at that, it basically looks brand new again. It's, like I said, nice and shiny, it's protected from rust, so yeah, you could leave this now and leave this here for a year and it wouldn't rust. So that's really, I really recommend using WD-40 guys, take that from me. So now it's time to put this back. And well, let's do the ignition system, why not? So this one's actually pretty easy. Get yourself the ignition system. Get yourself this power wipe. This is basically just a baby wipe, but instead of like baby cleaning stuff, it has industrial grade degreaser on it. So we can now move on to the next thing, and let's pick the Airbox. This is basically the same as a car's air filter. You attach this one to the carburetor. This is where the carburetor will suck the air. And down here are the 2 holes where the air is sucked into the airbox. And then in here we've got a filter. Wait, I'll show you now. There we go. So this side is just empty. There you can see the 2 holes for the air. And then on this side here you can see we have a little placeholder. Then the actual filter itself. And then another placeholder. And this is what the inside looks like. Alright guys, so the airbox is now done. As you can see, I've put a nice little layer of WD-40 on there again. That's just to keep it nice and shiny and give it that protective layer again. Of course it's not metal, but WD-40 still helps to protect it. So now we've only got these 2 things left. The Chainguard and of course these beautiful magnesium wheel hubs. So we'll do the Chainguard first, and then for the end of this video I'll do the wheel hubs. So you can see here that the inside's quite greasy. Of course this thing protects the chain. And all of the grease from the chain gets just slingshotted in here. So first we're going to clean out the inside with brake cleaner and then the outside with WD-40. And for that I will make a nice time lapse again. So as you can see here, it's pretty clean again. Most of the things, of the little spots you can see on there like this and well in there. Those are all just pretty much little damages and nicks because sometimes the chain or the gears may hit this thing. Like here you can see that's a piece broken off right here. That's because the chain guard wobbles a bit when driving. Like it's, here I will show you. It's located like this normally, protecting the chain and well, protecting everything else from the chain, because if the chain comes off and it hits you, well, that's not that's bad business of course. But yeah, it's in a bit of a rough spot, so there will be of course minor nicks and damages on there. Nothing we can do about it. All we can do is just maintain it properly. Let's move on to the wheel hubs now, the last thing. Okay guys, so now coming into the final parts of this, well, it's not really a tutorial, but of this vlog, the wheel hubs. These are of course the things that make the rims and the wheels attached to the kart itself, and it's pretty important to maintain them, so let's get into how to do that now. Okay guys, so let's start out with the front wheel hubs. These things have the bearings inside them, and there are some rings in there. I'll show you what they are for now. So this is what the wheel hub looks like, pretty standard. There you can see the bearing is inside there and of all of these rings. Now the purpose for these rings are, well, I'll just show you. Here you can see the, I don't know what this part is called in English, but let's just call it the suspension, even though this kart has no real like spring suspension. There you can see that there's a bar over here. Well, it's called an axle, I believe, in English. And well, of course you can slide the wheel hub just right on there. Now with these little rings I have here, you can determine the width, so you can have it like this or like this. And of course, the wider you go, the more grip you have. So I'll show you what I usually run. So normally I would just put this big ring right here, then the wheel hub. Then you put these 2 smaller rings in here, and then to end it off this, yeah, well, this sealing ring. And then of course you just tighten the nut. But I'm not going to do it right now because we're going to have to clean it. So let's go to the time lapse now. Okay guys, so this is the rear wheel hub. It's a lot more simple actually than the front wheel hub, but the concept's very similar. As you can see here, there are no bearings in here, and that's because, well, this is the rear axle. The bearings are actually mounted to the chassis itself. So with this wheel hub only comes one extra part, and that's this little safety pin. I don't really know what that's called. When you want to mount it, you find these 2 little holes. Put the safety pin in there. As you can see there, it has 2 little, it has 2 knobs that go in here. And then of course, you can just slide the wheel hub right on there. With a little bit of help. And pretty much the same concept applies here. The wider you go, the more grip you have. So let's go to the time lapse of cleaning these things right now. Okay guys, so the wheel hubs are now done as well. All those marks you see on there are of course, yeah, that's just damage because, well, it's pretty much wedged up against the rim all the time. And well, with those wheel hubs comes also the end of day 1. Yeah, I've been busy for around 3 to 3.5 hours now, which is, well, a little bit longer than I usually do. But yeah, that's because I'm also taking you guys with me as well, of course. So those are the most important things. Yeah, getting WD-40 on everything so it doesn't start rusting or oxidizing. And then for the next day we will be focusing actually on the kart itself. So every part that is still on there, and of course the chassis itself. And then after that, of course, we'll start building it up again. I won't put the engine on there yet, but I'll explain why later on. So yeah, see you in the next day. Alright guys, welcome back. So for you it's only been a couple of seconds, but for me it has been 2 entire days. So pretty much all of the hard work is done, and all we have to do now is clean the chassis. Also, what we still have to do is clean this part, and that is of course the gear and the gear holder. Now, cleaning that gear holder is not really that much of an issue. It's just, yeah, plain old, hit it with some brake cleaner and then hit it with WD-40. So I won't be covering that too much, but yeah, you will just see it in a time lapse. And I'm going to make a time lapse, of course, of me cleaning the entire thing. So, well, yeah, I'll see you when it's done. Okay guys, so the gear support and the gear itself is now clean, and I wanted to show you this. Check it out. This is always the most disgusting part of any kart. Here you can see this is where the engine normally is, and also where the chain normally is. You see here that all this grease, the chain just slingshots this all, yeah, pretty much all over the kart. Back here to the bearings and, well, the thing that holds the bearing in place. Whoops, there goes the safety pin of the gear holder. But yeah, by this part you can really tell if someone takes good care of his kart. Like if there's a really thick layer of this stuff on there, then you know that they don't take off the engine every time. And the advantage of cleaning this every week is that, well, you can just really almost wipe it off with your finger. You see, there you go. Alright guys, so I've just cleaned everything. The thing looks like new again. And well, that just always puts a smile to my face. Getting something that's dirty and making it look like brand new again. I mean, look at this, guys. Isn't that beautiful? Everything's nice and shiny again. Everything's back to its original color. There are no more black spots everywhere. When I see it in this state, I just want to go back out there again and have some more fun. But sadly, I still have painful rips. I have ordered a new seat. That's coming, by the way, so don't worry about that. Okay, so now it's time to do the final thing, and that's put everything back together again. So I'll see you guys when that's done. Guys, look at that. It's now completely finished. Now it's really just a case of putting tires on there, putting the engine on there, a little bit of fuel in there, and then we can go again. And so guys, with the end of that cleaning also comes the end of this video. Now if you want to know what it's like to take this thing a day around the track, then I consider checking out the video that's on screen somewhere here right now. But for this video, that was it. Peace.